Greetings, everybody. Nice to have you once again. Welcome to the office, to my office here at St. Catherine's. This morning we have three questions, two of which I know, and one is going to be a surprise at the very, very end. It's my understanding that people are somewhat enjoying these Zoom sessions, or these, what are they, YouTube sessions, David?
Yeah, ask a priest a question.
Ask a priest a question. I think people are enjoying these, and hopefully you're finding them somewhat informative as well. I know I am. First question for this morning is it bad to question my faith? Doesn't it show that I don't trust in God? The short answer to those questions is no. It is not a bad thing to question my faith at all. As a matter of fact, a few weeks ago, Father Peter and I both spoke to this question, in our homily at Mass, because the Gospel was St. Thomas, the great doubter. And Thomas gets a bum rap for being a doubter. Imagine this. The apostles who are actually in the physical presence of the risen Lord, I mean, they had their doubts too. So if they could doubt, if they could struggle with their faith, having seen the Lord, literally, so can we. Having questions and doubting is not necessarily a bad thing at all, because it leads to questions that can deepen our faith. The Lord doesn't lecture Thomas because he doubts. He embraces him. And as a matter of fact, as a result of that, Thomas is able to come to one of the most beautiful professions of faith ever recorded in all of sacred scripture, when he says, "My Lord and my God." It takes him a little while to get there, but God is very, very patient with him, and he's very, very patient with us. So doubting for Thomas was a stepping stone to a deeper faith. And it can be no different for us. So please do not be hard on yourself and think that it's a sign of weakness when it comes to trust in God. Absolutely not, because when you stop and you think about it, we're called to believe in something that is very, very difficult to believe in. Having faith in mystery is not easy. And that's who God is. Mystery. That's who I am. That's who we are as church. The important thing is to continue to come together as church, and not to isolate and not to scatter, because it is within the context of that community that we feel the support that we need in the midst of all our questions, in the midst of all our doubts. It's always best to question and to doubt together, and not in isolation from one another. So hopefully we'll take that message to heart going forward as we emerge from pandemic together and embrace the next chapter of our lives. That's the first question. Question number 2 for our consideration this morning. This kind of put a little smile on my face, and it tickled my heart a little bit. Where do our beloved pets go when they die? When I first saw that question, which David gave me, as I said, I smiled. And then I went right to the source. I went right to the Catechism of the Catholic Church, because I really and truly thought that our catechism had an explanation in reference to this question. And it does. And this is what the Catechism of the Catholic Church says in reference to a question similar to this. In the Catechism, we are told that animals, pets, are God's creatures. He surrounds them with his providential care. By their very existence, they bless him and they give him glory. Thus, we owe them kindness. We should recall the gentleness with which saints like Francis of Assisi and Philip Neri treated animals. That's right from the Catechism of the Catholic Church, number 2416, if you want to look it up. So if our pets are God's creatures, and if he treats them with his providential care, what that means is he will always treat them with his providential care, even long after they leave us. Exactly how and where, we have to leave that to the realm of faith once again. But we can trust him when he says, my providential care surrounds them for all eternity, just as it surrounds all of us. So take great comfort and great hope in that, if you are able to do so. There's a third question this morning. It's a surprise. I haven't even seen this one yet. So what you're going to get is totally spontaneous. I hope you don't mind, even if you do mind. The question is this: with Father Peter away for a short vacation, what freedoms do you expect to enjoy? First of all, I'm not so sure that I would call it a short vacation. I mean, he's going to be gone for a whole 7 days. That's a pretty good vacation, if you ask me. And the first freedom that I can think of that I will enjoy is I will have the clicker all to myself. Need I say anything more? It's a screen to watch that clicker going back and forth between us when both of us are watching the same TV in the same room. I won't have to do that for 7 whole days. Yes. I hope he has a good one. He deserves it. He needs it. And I look forward to taking some time this summer myself. And it's something that we weren't able to do last year, and it's time. It's really time. So to close this morning, I just want to remind you of something. By the way, in speaking to that question of doubt in St. Thomas, as I mentioned earlier, Father Peter and I have spoken to this recently in our homilies, and we speak about it periodically. So please listen as best you can to what we're saying already. And some of these questions, their answers may become more apparent to you. Speaking of our homilies, just don't forget one thing. I'm holding up a mug that I leave on my desk. And when people come in, some people see it, and it gives them a little chuckle. On this mug, it says, "Be careful, or you will end up in my sermon." I just forewarn you, as a way of ending our little session this morning, a little carefulness goes a long way. Salute.